Am I the a-hole for wearing the watch my ex gave me?
When I, currently 29M, was still dating my ex-girlfriend, she gifted me a nice watch on my 25th birthday. For some context, her employer paid her a salary of $92K per year, plus a living allowance as she often traveled for work. They provided her with a company vehicle, phone, and the allowance covered her rent, hotel, and food. So, with most of her basic living expenses being covered, she had a lot of disposable income and hit amass significant savings. The watch she bought was by no means a Rolex, but I believe it was a couple $1,000s. It's the only nice watch I own. My other watches being a cheap Timex from when I was in college and an Apple Watch. Fast forward a year and a half, and we ended up breaking up. Her company ended up moving its base of operations to a different city, and she was only able to visit by flying here on weekends, and it just wasn't working. She did ask for the watch back, but I said no, it was a gift, but that's a different story. Now, my current girlfriend, 26F, who I've been dating for just over a year, seems to have a problem with the watch. I don't wear it often, usually only on occasions. She's brought up before that I should sell the watch for some extra cash, but like I said, it's my only nice watch. Last weekend, we went out to celebrate our first anniversary. We got dressed up and went to a nice restaurant, and I wore my watch. She didn't notice until we got to the restaurant and sat down. When she saw it, she immediately asked why I wore it. I asked why I wouldn't. Since we were getting dressed up nicely, why shouldn't I wear my nicest watch and only piece of jewelry? She said it was disrespectful to be wearing something gifted to me by my ex while celebrating our anniversary. I don't cherish the watch because of who gave it to me. I have no emotional or sentimental feelings about it. It's just a nice watch that I'd never be able to afford on what I make. I took the watch off at that point and slipped it into my pocket to try and save the evening, but it ruined her mood for the night. She wasn't interested in conversation and was short with everything she said to me. She was silent on the drive home and then immediately went to bed. I asked her the next day why the watch bothered her so much when it has no emotional significance to me. She just said she didn't want to talk about the watch anymore and went about scrolling on her phone. Over the next day, she got over it, but now I feel like I'm not allowed to wear my watch anytime we go out together. For some additional context, she has expressed that she doesn't like my ex because we broke up on good terms and spoke regularly. The breakup wasn't messy, it was just a matter of circumstances. We both were unhappy, and it was nobody's fault. When my current girlfriend and I got together, she said that I didn't want me texting with my ex, who I still considered a friend, and asked to look through our previous conversations, which I allowed. I then stopped texting her. She always seemed insecure about my previous relationship, and I've done my best to try and alleviate her concerns. I figured she would get over it in time as our relationship solidified. I don't think wearing the watch was that big of a deal. Maybe I could sell it and use the money to put toward a different nice watch. I'm not sure if watches retain value well enough for it to be worth that, but even so, I feel like the new watch would still indirectly be paid for with the gift my ex gave me. Or do I just put it in a box and stick it in the back of our closet? Update. There is one thing I want to clarify that a lot of people seem to be incorrectly assuming from my original post. Many people are saying I shouldn't have worn it after she told me she had a problem with it. But that's just it. She never voiced a problem with the watch before this. She told me I should sell it for the extra money a few times, but never said she had a problem with it. It was always framed as a financial suggestion. Now, I will admit, I assume she wasn't a fan of the watch because of these suggestions, but I never had a reason to believe it bothered her so deeply, or made her feel so insecure to the point that she would let it ruin our anniversary. I always figured it bothered her because of its price, and the fact that she could never afford to give me a gift like that, which I would never expect her to and don't care about. Now on to the update. I talked to my father's friend who used to own a jewelry shop, and he said I could probably get 65 to 75% of its original value selling it privately, but finding a serious buyer might take some time. For those wondering, the watch is an Omega Railmaster. I was told it would cost around $8,000 to $9,000 to buy a similar watch new today, which is more than I would have thought. And with the condition mine is in, I could probably get $5,000 to $6,000 if I were to sell it. So, after work on Friday, I asked my girlfriend if we could talk about the watch. I wanted to make sure I understood the problem and wanted to ensure that it didn't cause any further issues. I said that I felt terrible for upsetting her on our anniversary, and that maybe we could go out for a second anniversary date Saturday night to try and make up for it. I asked if me keeping the watch but not wearing it on dates will be okay with her. She said she would rather it not even be in the apartment. I asked why. She said she felt like I was holding on to my ex, and that by keeping the watch, I was keeping a part of her with me, and even if I put it away in the bottom of the closet, she would still be there. I explained that the watch has no sentimental value to me. It's not a symbol of my past relationship, it's just a nice watch. There is no deeper meaning to me. I told her that it seemed like she was looking for a deeper meaning where there was none. This is when things started to fall apart. She demanded that I sell the watch because I was denying my feelings for my ex and needed to put her behind me. She started saying she felt I was still in love with my ex, and that I was holding on to the watch because I wasn't really over her. That my ex was who I really wanted to be with because she could shower me in gifts, which she didn't do for the record. All of this couldn't be further from the truth. If I wanted to get back together with my ex, I had the opportunity, but I said no because I had moved on. Which leads me to the side story from a few years ago about my ex asking for the watch back. 6 months after we broke up, still before I met my current girlfriend, her company ended up downsizing and she was laid off. She reached out and asked if I wanted to get back together. I said no. I was single and could have said yes, but I had just moved on and felt like getting back together, as badly as I wanted to say yes, would have been a step backwards. Not to mention her company could recall her to work at any point. I just felt we were better off as friends at that point, and I was fully okay with that. Around the same time, she asked for the watch back. She said she was worried about money now that she was laid off and wanted to sell the watch to help cover her bills. I told her no, because she didn't need the couple $1,000s she'd get for the watch when she had a six-figure savings account to bridge the gap between jobs, plus she could collect employment insurance. She had never been in a situation where income was uncertain, so she was kind of panicking, but eventually realized the watch wouldn't significantly improve her situation. Back to my current situation. After accusing me of still loving my ex, she asked to see my phone, which she hadn't done since we got together. This surprised me. I understood why she asked the first time since we had just started dating, but I felt like we were past that point and trusted each other now. So I asked her if she thought I loved her, and if she thought I was cheating, and she just said she didn't know. She kept going on that if I loved her, I would have gotten rid of the watch on my own. Up until this point, the conversation had not been going well, but things were relatively calm. This is when things started to get volatile. Long story short, we've broken up. I'm not interested in being with someone who doesn't trust me. She got pretty angry, saying I was just looking for an excuse to go back to my ex after I told her I wanted to break up. I did end up handing over my phone and told her to look for whatever she thought was on it while I packed my bags, mostly to prove a point that there was nothing to find. She started saying I probably deleted the messages to cover my tracks, and I realized there was nothing I could do or say to convince her I was done with my ex. I left to stay with my sister and told her she'd be back on Sunday and that she needed to be moved out by then unless she wanted to take over the lease on her own. I haven't heard from her since, so I don't know if she's gone or not. I'm disappointed this is how things played out, but I think a lot of you were right. She was ruled by her insecurities and had some maturing to do. P.S. To the shocking number of you suggesting I lie about where the watch came from, I won't be doing that. I won't and didn't advertise it, but if I'm asked, I'm not going to lie. That would never cross my mind, so thanks for the advice, but I won't be doing that.